I have a note section that I'm about to dictate to you a timeline that I believe to be the accurate, full tin-foiled, conspiratorial even, theory around what's going on with Greenland. Because Greenland's interesting, isn't it? Because you have this oil venture that's very plausible. But didn't we just get so much oil from Venezuela? Aren't there easier targets? Canada even has a lot of oil. We talked about that being the 51st state. So hear me. Could it be minerals? Oh, minerals. How delightful. I'll have two. They're already talking about drilling out there and that there's a plentiful amount. Okay, that's plausible. But what if it's something deeper? What if it's something that's more obvious? Because honestly, the last dot that connected, though I hadn't seen it coming, it's like, yeah, this is obvious. This is, let me put my window up before 9/11 calls. Right? Check this out. I need you to catch my drift or get on the next wave. Okay? I need you to remember Denmark. Denmark owns Greenland. The Greenlandians are Danish. Go figure. I love a Danish. I deployed with a Polish sector too. I love Polish people. Jak się masz? If you speak Polish, what's up? Korva. So it makes no sense to anybody. So, PayPal is buying Greenland. I said it, okay? I said it. Listen, this is going to be like a two puff pass type conversation, okay? 2 puffs, move on. I need you to follow me here, okay? This sounds nuts. You've probably heard of the PayPal Mafia. PayPal Mafia is like 7 to 8 different current founders, VCs, and investors, policymakers that work nearly as statesmen, technocracy statesmen within our own administration. So, and these people, I'm only going to mention a few of them here today, seem to be behind a plot to take over Greenland. All right, there's no extra microphones in here. I think the PayPal Mafia is trying to buy Greenland. Why? Okay, remember, Denmark owns Greenland. Who the PayPal Mafia? Peter Thiel. You know that name? Palantir. Works with this nut. You know him, right? So we know they're already creating an AI database of every single person that exists here. But this guy is also invested into something. We're going to get to that. So, number 2, we have Elon Musk. Needs no introduction, but recently now Grok is going to get utilized by our government. Sick. And Luke. Now I'm going to leave out one other guy that we're going to mention here in a second. But Luke is really it's like the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. No one really reads Luke. Luke was one of the original founders and went on to create the Founders Fund with Peter Thiel. Right? And that was in 2005. Flash forward to 2011. This is where things get juicy. We have to go down to another country, Honduras. And what happens in Honduras is they put into legislation this thing called a RED. It was R-E-D. It was for a new zoning effort to create an economic development sector that wasn't controlled by the country's governance, but actually self-governed, autonomously governed. It'll be great. It'll create jobs. And so they created it. But then the court judges said, unethical. We cannot do this. This is bad. Please hang up. Try again. So 4 of the judges next month, 4 of the judges on that panel that initially denied the RED were removed from their position and replaced with 4 judges that said, you know what? This thing is great. Let's just call it ZED instead. Z-E-D-E. It's like zoning, economic development, employment, blah, 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 blah. Who's you what, see? Oh, we're just getting started. It's going to be a long one. So lock in with me, guys. Lock in. Master lock. Can't break those. So I'm told. I'm the best at it. The new judges are put in, and they pass the ZED. What comes of the ZED? The ZED, Z-E-D-E, I'm just calling it ZED instead of ZED. ZED sounds stupid. ZED is used by a man named Juan Orlando Hernandez. Who is Juan Orlando Hernandez? He's the president of Honduras. And this was created during his administration. And he took this and brought it to the island of Rotan. He brought it to the island of Rotan, y'all, a little district jungly island. No one really could get there other by boat or helicopter, whatever. No one really went there. This was one of his first times being there. And he said, this is the place for Prospera. What's Prospera? Oh, I got to introduce you to my man, Eric Bryman, Prospera founder, basing his entire company around the state of Israel. Woo woo! Shout out in the chat for Eric. So Eric and this guy, Juan Orlando Hernandez, got together to take this Zeke opportunity, bring it to this island called Rotan, and they're going to build Prospera, the first of many tech-based AI surveillance cities. Yeah! Side note, sounds a lot like what they're building in Gaza through the Great Plan, which has an Elon Musk condition in the initial PDF. PayPal. Sidebar alleviated. Closing the window, back in the mainframe. Eric Bryman and Juan Orlando Hernandez. That's the last time I'm going to do that. I promise. I love my Latino friends. They're my favorite. Now, Mark Anderson enters the picture with Peter Thiel under the guise of what's known as Pronomos Capital. They provide funding for startup cities. Can we add that to the screen, chat? Sick. They provide funding for startup cities. Mark Anderson has always voted Democrat. Always voted Democrat. Back into the 90s. Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. But this year switched for the first time. Once being against Trump multiple times for his last two attempts. First one winning, second one losing. He would switch gears to then donate $3 million to Donald Trump's super PAC, providing him funds. And he is now an advisor in the form of crypto. Let's wrap into crypto. David Sachs is the AI czar. He is working with people like Mark Anderson to build the infrastructure for the AI crypto hybrid world that we're going to live in with CBDCs and stable coins and surveillance state and all this stuff on a blockchain. What the heck is a blockchain? It's not for this video, okay? The problem with that is that Pronomos Capital is what funds Prospera LLC. So what Prospera LLC is attempting to do by creating Prospera out on Island Rotan in Honduras, formed by Juan Orlando Hernandez and Eric Bryman, is create an AI tech surveillance city with no laws and no bounds. I mean it. They literally don't have to be FDA certified to conduct different medical ventures. They're trying to live forever. They had a conference about it. They want to live forever. They're talking about ending poverty and then this utopian state and blah, 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 blah. But guess what? Honduras said no. Honduras said no. Why? Because we arrested Juan Orlando Hernandez, the president of Honduras. And when the new person came in and within months, she was like, yeah, no, none to the Zeke thing. But the problem is the billionaires had been building it for like the last 5 years. So the billionaires came and sued. Here's actually a tweet from Eric Bryman talking about the lawsuit. They sued Honduras for $10.5 billion. Can I tell you right now, the GDP of Honduras is about $36 billion. They're suing them for a third of their GDP, half their public expenditures last year. But what's the holdup? Because that case is still active. Tea, pour it. You just wait. There's a Powerpuff Girl flying punch from Townsville in your future. Paul Romer created this idea called the Charter City. A charter city originally was taken up by a man who went by the name of Patrick Friedman, the grandson of Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman was the economist who worked with Ronald Reagan to create Reaganomics. Interesting. So Paul Romer brings up this idea of charter cities, less governance, less regulation, better for the corporations. He called it like economics and politics combined. Then we learned that Paul Romer's idea is ripped off by Donald Trump and his administration to create what's known as the Freedom City with the backing of those like Peter Thiel to create AI surveillance state cities for you and I to live in. But remember, Denmark owns Greenland. Let's get to the point. 4 judges were out. 4 judges were in. We get the Zeke. Then Honduras gets a new president. We arrested the first president. And now they're saying no Zeke. And so now they're like, where do we build Prospera LLC? By the way, incorporated out of Delaware. I bet you I know that Ronald Lauder might know. president of the president of the World Jewish Congress. Hey, brother, to the Jerusalem Post, what did you recently go out and do? I invested in this company that I incorporated out of Delaware, 302, to have more ownership in a Greenland water company. Why? Oh, it just seems funny because you were the person who gave Donald Trump the idea to even buy Greenland. Oh, that's not true. Oh, but the article. They've sourced you saying it many times. It was your idea, and you even wanted to act as a bridge of communication between Denmark and America. Oh, and guess who owns Greenland? Denmark. We have our bridge open. But now it comes into fruition this year. And so what did you do over the summer, buddy? You went and made an LLC for a Greenland company so you can invest in Greenland companies. You incorporated it right out of Delaware. Here it is. You then used that to invest in GWB, Greenland Water. And you did this just in the last couple months. Interestingly enough, something else happened in October, and then something else happened in December, as we now all know that we announced it. We need Greenland. We need Greenland. We have to have it.
We gotta have it right now. Give it to me, boo.
Oh, man, my notebook. Oh, this is new. Guys, the spine just broke off part of my notebook. Man, pickles. All right. Guys, we're going to get to the end of this, I promise you. So again, the lawsuit is still going on in Honduras. Now we have this weird thing with Greenland. And now we know that multiple billionaires are already being known to create mining facilities or getting ready for mining facilities in this area. But can I tell you, what if they're trying to build Prospera in Greenland and use that as a test facility, Freedom City, that they can eventually bring to America and build 10 to 11 Freedom Cities and build these surveillance states on the Gaza Strip so there's beach resort real estate where people once died, murdered. What if we're actively watching the plan in front of us, but they know at this point it's inevitable, so they don't even care if we see? David Sachs, AI czar, PayPal Mafia. Peter Thiel, Founders Club or Founders Fund, Pronomos Capital, which funds Prospera LLC, which funds Proxies, which is basically the network state side of what Prospera LLC is doing with the actual land. They're creating AI tech surveillance states. Peter Thiel funds that. Mark Anderson, advisor of Trump, now donor to Trump, all of a sudden funds that. David Sachs is the AI czar, PayPal Mafia. Donald Trump's allowing this all to happen with Elon Musk at his side, who, by the way, tweeted that he was a pedophile and then went out to go get dinner with him and was like, hey, look at me, I'm getting dinner with the president. You said he's a pedophile! 2 puffs, then pass. Recently, Juan Orlando Hernandez was pardoned. By who? Trump. When? Like 4 weeks ago. On what? Crime and narco-terrorism and weapons. Sound familiar? So what am I saying here? What's the point, Zach? What's the point? Get to the point. They gotta look right like this for it to look real. I gotta find a way to make money off this. That's what all the billionaires are thinking. How do I find a way to make money off this? It's too good. Remember how I said Luke was kind of like the forgotten PayPal Mafia member? Well, there's another PayPal Mafia member I never mentioned. His name is Ken Howry. Young, strapping-looking individual, right? He's in on the Founders Fund with Peter Thiel. So he's openly invested and bought into this idea of AI tech super cities. Ken Howry is on the cabinet. I don't know if it's technically cabinet, but he's officially appointed for his position within the White House now in October of this year, which then seemed to send off a ripple effect of us actually going into action on something that was talked about back in like March and February, but kind of died off, this whole Greenland thing. Well, then right there in May, April, May, this LLC pops up for Greenland by the same guy that suggested we go to Greenland, the communication bridge between us and Greenland through Denmark, because Denmark owns Greenland. And Ken Howry's in the United States government. And Ken Howry is the last member of the PayPal Mafia I want to tell you about, because Ken Howry is the current ambassador to Denmark. And I just find that, when so many things can be weird all in tandem, there's got to be something afoot. Caught my phone. I just don't know what it is yet.
With just a very, very small portion of that land, just a fraction, we should hold a contest to charter up to 10 new cities and award them to the best proposals for development. In other words, we'll actually build new cities in our country again. These freedom cities will reopen the frontier, reignite American imagination, and give hundreds of thousands of young people and other people, all hardworking families, a new shot at home ownership and, in fact, the American dream.